Burkina Faso is no longer just a gold mine, it's reclaiming value, dignity, and direction. Burkina Faso is one of the top gold exporting countries in West Africa. Every year, tons of this precious metal leave the heart of the nation, flying straight to international markets, valued in the billions of dollars. But one burning question lingers in the minds of its people. If we are a gold-rich country, why are our people still poor? For decades, gold hasn't been a resource, it's been a shackle, dug from the hands of the people, sold raw and cheap, only to return in the form of luxury goods at 100 times the price. In this context, President Ibrahim Traoré made a bold move: no more selling raw gold. He doesn't just want to keep gold inside the country. He wants to transform it into jobs, value chains, and economic independence. And this is no longer just a policy, it's a declaration of sovereignty. We're not talking about one factory, we're not talking about a single decree. We're talking about a quiet but radical revolution in how a poor nation confronts the fate of its own resources. So if you've ever wondered whether a small country can truly rise and reclaim what's theirs, follow this story, because for the first time, gold is no longer flowing out invisibly. It's being held back, and it's starting to generate wealth for the very people who were once left behind. Don't forget to subscribe to Ibrahim Traoré Biography, where we tell the stories of revolutions not made by gunfire, but by wisdom, determination, and the will to escape imposed destiny. In November 2023, a quiet yet historic milestone unfolded in Burkina Faso. The Traoré government officially approved the construction of the country's first-ever gold refinery. This is not a symbolic gesture, not a small workshop to appease public opinion. It's a bold economic declaration. The facility is expected to refine 400 kilograms of gold per day, creating 100 direct jobs and over 5,000 indirect jobs, not just in mining, but across logistics, transport, mechanics, and auxiliary services. More importantly, this marks the first time Burkina Faso is keeping its gold for domestic processing, instead of exporting raw or at low prices, a model that has kept dozens of African nations in economic chains for centuries. We will no longer be the ones digging gold just for others to mold it into wealth, said an economic advisor in the Traoré administration. The ability to refine gold domestically brings more than just financial gain. It is a statement of industrial sovereignty. From now on, Burkina Faso is not just a mine, it's a link in the global value chain, a position many African countries dream of, but few have ever truly reached. Looking ahead, this is just the first step, a gateway to building a precious metals processing industry, laying the foundation for technology, jewelry, and even a financial ecosystem centered around gold. This isn't just a refinery, it's a door opening to a future where Burkina Faso is no longer defined by raw resources, but by its power to control and create value from them. Just a few months after approving the construction of the national gold refinery, in February 2024, President Ibrahim Traoré took another bold step. He suspended all small-scale and private gold export licenses. This wasn't a dry bureaucratic order. It was a direct statement to those profiting from gold outside the public interest. The game is over. The reason was made clear. The government aims to combat gold smuggling, tax evasion, and clean up the artisanal gold supply chain, which has long been a blind spot in Burkina Faso's economy. Gold is bleeding through invisible borders. We cannot build a nation on gold bars that simply vanish, said an official from the Ministry of Economy. For years, thousands of small-scale miners, intermediaries, and free-market exporters treated the gold trade as a gray zone, untouchable, unregulated. But now, they are faced with a choice: become transparent, or leave the game. More importantly, this move shows that Traoré isn't just building a refinery, he's rebuilding an entire system. A system in which gold can no longer be traded like contraband, but must be traceable, taxable, and contribute to the national budget. For the benefit of all citizens, anyone can mine gold, but no one has the right to escape responsibility, a sentence that now defines Traoré's resource philosophy. Yes, this will disrupt certain interests in the short term, but it is precisely its disruption that makes millions of Burkinabés feel, for the first time, that someone is finally standing up to protect what rightfully belongs to them. For decades, Burkina Faso was the textbook case of a dig and export economy. Extract raw resources, gives export cheaply, gives, buy back refined products at high prices. This extractive model left the country with only the shell, while the real value, profits, supply chains, technology, flowed outward. Under Ibrahim Traoré, those rules are being rewritten. Instead of taxing only the trickle of recorded raw gold, the government is now building a system of oversight, taxation, and value distribution. From extraction to export, the central principle: turn gold from a wild resource into a regulated national asset. We don't just need gold, we need justice from gold. A new slogan now spreading across national media: suspending private exports was only the first step. That the real pressure came from what followed: post-export audits, extraction checks, invoice regulation, standardized export channels. These are what truly silenced the entrenched interest groups. And from there, national revenues began to rise. Notably, Traoré has not shied away from confronting international companies that once operated as near-economic warlords in Burkina Faso. He demanded contract renegotiations, tighter tax compliance, and transparent profit-sharing agreements. If you want to dig gold from our land, then you must leave something behind, more than just holes. While many African nations remain passive in resource negotiations, Traoré's approach is a declaration in itself. We're not selling land, we're selling value. And that value comes with taxes, with regulations, and with shared benefit. When financial power is built from a nation's own natural wealth, sovereignty is no longer a slogan, it becomes reality. With bold government interventions in the gold sector, public reaction in Burkina Faso has been as diverse as the people's lived realities. At small-scale mining sites, some clapped, while others frowned. Many artisanal miners are concerned that they may be pushed out of the game if they can't meet new requirements for transparency, documentation, and technical standards. I don't oppose the law, but I need time to learn how to live within it, shared a miner in Yalgo. On the other hand, urban citizens and educated youth had shown strong support. For them, the government's willingness to crack down on smuggling and demand accountability from foreign companies is a sign of a state that aims to build, not just manage. Dozens of articles, podcasts, and viral TikTok videos have spread the message: the gold is ours, and it's time we define its value ourselves. Still, among the cheers and support, a layer of cautious skepticism remains. Can the government truly oversee the entire extraction chain? Will powerful interests find new loopholes, as they have in the past? And how long can Traoré maintain these reforms under growing international pressure? We support him, but we won't follow blindly forever. The gold belongs to the people, and the people must see where it goes and what comes back. Such responses, even when mixed, are a healthy sign of a society learning to democratically own its resources. Because for the first time, the people are no longer excluded from the conversation about what is most precious to them. For generations, Africa has carried the label of the continent cursed by its own wealth. Oil, gold, diamonds. Nations that seemed to have struck it rich often fell deeper into poverty, conflict, and dependence. Burkina Faso was no exception. But under Ibrahim Traoré, something is changing. Resources are no longer seen as gifts from the sky, but as responsibilities that must be properly governed. He doesn't treat gold as a weapon to bargain for international leverage. He doesn't glorify it as the country's only economic escape. Traoré sees gold as one piece in a much larger, strategic puzzle: rebuilding public trust in the state, redesigning a fair public revenue system, and most importantly, fostering a sense of sovereignty from the ground up. We don't want to be just a dot on the world's gold export map. We want to be a place where value is created and kept. This transformation doesn't come from digging more mines, it comes from changing mindsets. When natural resources are connected to education, infrastructure, sustainable jobs, and national pride, they're no longer a curse, they become capital for development. Traoré is sending a message, and the world is starting to listen. We may be poor in money, but we are not poor in will, and for the first time, our resources will serve us, not someone else. Gold is a resource, but policy is destiny. Under Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is no longer just a country with gold mines, it is a nation with a vision of managing gold as a tool for development, not dependency. From building its first national refinery, to suspending uncontrolled private exports, to restructuring the tax system and bringing transparency to abstraction, each step reflects a clear intention. Keep the gold home, and give the people of Burkina Faso a real share in its value. Yes, the journey ahead is long. Yes, the challenges are many. From internal oversight and international pressure, to the pushback of hidden interests, but at the very least, the country has turned toward a new path. Resource sovereignty aligned with economic justice. No one is poor because they lack resources. We are poor because we let others decide the fate of our resources. Traore may not keep every promise forever, but he has done something millions have waited generations for. He asked the right questions and dared to change the answers. If you believe that Africa can rise from its own soil, if you believe that resources are no longer chains, that the keys to owning the future, subscribe to Ibrahim Traoré biography, where stories of leadership, resolve, and transformation will continue to be told, not sugar-coated, but truthfully and powerfully.